Hello, sixth graders. We got to our last topic. The topic is dividing fractions with integers. Like I always tell you, what better way to learn math than with an example? The example for today is negative 8/10 divided by negative 3/5. This step is the difference between multiplication and division of fractions with integers. It's called reciprocal. It means the switch of the numbers up only in the second fraction. In this example, you're going to make reciprocal 3 and 5. That means 5 will go as a numerator and 3 will go as a denominator. Another thing that this step has is that you're going to change your operation from division to multiplication. After we do the reciprocal procedure, we do the normal steps just as multiplication. We crisscross to look for your greatest common factors. Remember that we get the opposite numbers to identify it. For this step, we're going to identify the greatest common factor between the opposite numbers. So, in the example, we have 3 and 8. Remember, factors are numbers that make up 3 and factors are numbers that make up 8. In this case, we don't have a greatest common factor. They don't have common numbers. But for 5 and 10, numbers that make up 5, 1 and 5, and numbers that make up 10, 1, 2, 5, and 10. So your greatest common factor between the two numbers is going to be 5. With our greatest common factor already identified in the slide before, we're going to divide. Remember that we divide the opposite sides with your greatest common factor. In this example, we just found only one greatest common factor. So 5 divided by 5 will become 1, and 10 divided by 5 will become 2. So your new fraction will be negative 8 over 2 times negative 1/3. After we simplified internally in the previous slide, we're going to apply the integer rules. In multiplication and division, if your fractions have the same sign, your answer is going to be positive. The last thing to do is multiply your fractions across normally. In this example, 8 times 1 is 8 and 2 times 3 is 6. And it's going to be positive because if you have both fractions with the same sign, your result will be positive. But there's one more thing. Remember that you cannot leave a fraction as an improper fraction. So you will have to change it to a mixed number. And if in that mixed number you will have to simplify, you will have to do it. Let's try another example. 5/8 divided by negative 5/10. The first thing to do is make your second fraction reciprocal. Remember that when you make your second fraction reciprocal, your operation changes from division to multiplication. So your new fraction in this example will be 5/8 times negative 10/5. After reciprocal, we crisscross to look for GCF. In this example, you're going to look for the GCF of 5 and 5, and of 8 and 10. Step 3, identify the greatest common factor between the opposite numbers. In the example, you're going to look for greatest common factor of 5 and 5, that is going to be 5, and of 8 and 10, that is going to be 2. After we identify the greatest common factor, you're going to simplify internally. How do we simplify internally? By dividing the opposite numbers with their greatest common factor. So, in the example that we have, our new fraction is going to be 1/4 times negative 5 over 1. The next thing to do is apply the integer rules. In the example that we have here, one fraction is positive and the other fraction is negative. So if they're different signs, your answer is going to be negative. The final step is multiply across normally. In the example, you're going to multiply 1 times 5, that gives me 5, and 4 times 1, that gives me 4. And it's going to be negative because they have opposite signs. Remember, you cannot leave an answer improper, so you will have to divide to make it a mixed number. Your final answer will be negative 1 whole 1 over 4. It's your turn to try it. Your example is going to be negative 620 divided by 4/5. You can pause the video so you can solve the problem. Did you get it correct? Your answer should be negative 3/8. Well guys, I hope this video helps you in today's assignment. See you soon.